Yo, trending down, episode 22. Got myself Ethersole, Bender, if I even have to do that anymore. But before we get into it, let me fill out my duties from the producer so I don't catch lashings. Go hit up the YouTube, like, subscribe, the Twitter. All the engagement just pumps the algorithm and keeps these things going. But all that aside, what's good, my guy?
Nothing. Just I'm hanging out, having a good day, watching the bi-weekly trending down long just print right now.
Yep. And for those not aware of the tradition, or if this is your first episode, first off, welcome. Second, we always punt a YOLO long on episodes. It's tradition, as old as time. And right now, we both did it. Mine's up 15%.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Perfect. We just love to see it. Some things should never change. And, there should be a DAO that puts money together to have us just pump these out daily. I mean, shit, we could stay on the mic 24/7. I'll do the live streams,
Given the percent up we are, it would be incredibly beneficial if this kept working out.
Hey, just tossing it out there if someone wants to take charge. I did see like a trending down Twitter, DAON.
Right.
So if they want to lead the charge, go for it. But
that's part of the fun, is kind of seeing the community get involved and have like funny quips and comments and do things like that.
Right. I mean, I think we're both blown away by it. We have to be, because we never expected. We didn't expect it to be a failure. Let's be honest, but it's cool to see a community fully like coming together, and I don't know. It's just nice to see almost come full circle. Now that said, we're nowhere near even started, right? I think we would say we're like barely in the first inning.
Has it been 5 months of doing this now?
I want to say yes. I mean, episode 22,
Wow.
That's quite a bit. We did have a Spaces. So if you missed episode last week and you're kind of bummed at us, maybe a little mad even, go check out Twitter. I think it's recorded there, where we just kind of riffed and talked live instead of doing the podcast that week. And, it was cool. I think we'll do that format more, but maybe do like an episode earlier in the week and then a Spaces randomly on Friday here and there just to kick it with everyone. It was fun.
I had a blast doing it. It was just a different format. It kind of felt more, it felt transparent to the degree where it's always like, hey, we don't really have a plan. We just kind of hit record and wing it. And I think that was evident of it finally.
Yeah, exactly. And before we dive into some topics, the YOLO pod long is literally undefeated. We're up 20+%.
Yeah, I'm at 25% now.
You still love to see it. Okay, so let's hop right in. I mean, you can't not see checks on the timeline these days, the NFT checks.
Right. And this one is like bittersweet for me because we've watched the checks and seen the checks. And
I almost didn't want to bring it up.
I know. I did a Spaces yesterday and I told the person, I was like, hey, don't talk about checks. I'm trying to forget about them.
I mean, if you followed the OPEPEN's call, you're probably up nice right now. I still think those have a way to run. But regardless, it's cool to see something new happen. And I see tweet threads out there basically like trashing this and relating it to past projects, which I won't name, but I mean, that to me tells me it's going higher. Until you see new paradigm threads, I feel like then maybe it's like, okay,
right,
it's exhausted.
Even FUD is exposure sometimes,
right?
Because I feel like I see a lot of things from people bashing on it, and then I read them and think, oh, that's not that bad. Like, it's a little overblown for what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So FUD or not, they definitely showed strength.
And it's cool. I mean, it's literally a daily changing art project. I think he like updates the metadata almost every day.
Yeah.
With some new image. And
it's something
almost
different.
Like a movement.
Yeah, I think the creativity is the cool part here.
There is an angle like of like someone being adversarial to it, of like, why can they just change the image all the time?
Yeah, and that feels like a bull market tweet thread. Like, I can imagine that coming out in the height of the bull market, trying to FUD this thing, or like just somebody picking it apart because they missed the boat. It seems like we've lost a lot of those people.
Agreed. We've definitely shaken out a lot of the tourists that are normally hanging around and, bashing shit, just to bash it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they'll be back soon.
Oh, absolutely. They're never going to be gone forever.
I mean, with this Blur airdrop upcoming, I want to say like the checks momentum plus that could lead to a little rally in NFTs as long as ETH like chills where it is in this range. I feel like they could definitely have a strong end of February into March.
Yeah, I think that's why everyone is not everyone. I think that's why people are targeting things to happen around Blur. Yuga Labs has, I think their mint or their summoning is the 15th, which is the day after the Blur airdrop. There's a lot of equity just being given out in the market. So if it doesn't reinvigorate something, I'd be shocked.
I know we touched on this way earlier in the past, the whole Blur thing. Do we want to talk about a quick strategy for that? Or are you just going to like market sell immediately on the God candle that gets printed upon airdrop release? I mean, it's on Valentine's Day, and maybe that doesn't matter for some people, but you definitely got to log on and be like, hey, I'll be right back.
The Looks airdrop was Christmas Eve, I think, or like the day before Christmas Eve. And everyone that sold the airdrop, they made out really well for 2 days. And then 3 days later, you're like, oh, I could have held on and had a 5-6x.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the airdrops seem to go, because you have to imagine the Blur airdrop will be the only thing talked about on the timeline for a few days. It'll be trending on Dex tools. It'll be the coin people are buying into. Like, you'd imagine it goes up. I think it's kind of what you want. You have to decide, do I want to take the Blur airdrop free money and say, you know, if the average airdrop each person's getting is, you know, 0.5 ETH in value, are you going to sell that and put it into 0.5 ETH NFT floors, thinking, okay, that's the highest value NFT I can buy, which is probably what everyone else will do, and you ride that momentum instead? I think it's just a preference of where you want to put your risk with that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. A lot of activity on Blur right now, a lot of hype around it. You could argue that it's all for farming the airdrop. So it'll be very interesting to see the couple days post airdrop, the activity on there. I mean, I'm solely using Blur now. So there is an argument that I would buy the blood because we've said based on tokenomics that come out, it could be a good hold.
Right, but we have no clue what those tokenomics are yet, right?
So it's too early to say. But again, these airdrops, it's like you generally want to hold for a little bit longer than you think you should. And to me, it's probably worth that moon mission possibility.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that's the trend, is even if you miss the moon mission, like you see the first God candle get printed and dumped on, and you trend down for a few days, and then it starts kind of picking up, new all-time high, hangs it up there. Once that all-time high starts trailing off, you still have a pretty safe exit.
Exactly. You know what's funny about that is I saw a tweet the other day about, do you remember Botto? BOTTO?
Kind of.
It got airdropped to everyone. It was like this random NFT thing.
Gosh, actually, no, not at all then.
I mean, it was like 2-3K or something like that given out to basically everyone just for, I think, maybe doing something with art blocks. I can't really remember.
Oh, super rare. No.
Okay, but someone was like, they took the airdrop, tossed it in the farming, and they're like, I forgot about it. A year later, it's like they printed 10K.
No way.
And I think on looks, you could probably go back and see what that would have netted if you just staked it day one and let it print. I'm guessing you're up right now.
Maybe. Depends how far looks has dropped since its all-time high.
Yeah. True.
I think for me, it comes down to a gut decision of if Blur gives me this airdrop and it's worth 20 ETH, that might be enough for me to be like, fuck it, I don't really care. I'm taking the USD. I'm going to put it somewhere else. If it's 1 ETH, you're like, probably let that ride. I think it kind of just depends on how the gut feeling looks, the conversation around the timeline.
Makes sense.
Do you know what your plan is?
I mean, for me, I'll probably just hold it. And if there's a super deep dump, I'll probably buy because I think Paradigm is like Chad's.
Right.
And so I think they know what they're doing. They're probably going to deliver sick tokenomics considering they're always writing research papers on like current tokenomics and trends. I would be shocked if they came out with just a farm dump token.
Yeah, if we can see tokenomics before or at the airdrop, I think the decision for a lot of people could be different.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know where they're based. If they're in the U.S., it might make me think a little differently because, you know, you can't just pay out revenue because then you're like looking way more like a security. So that might, and I don't know how, you know, against the regulatory like agencies they want to go. If they're full decentralization maxis, I could see them doing that, but I'm pretty sure they're doxxed at some point, right? They're a big firm, so.
Oh yeah, they have like headshots on their website and everything.
Oh, okay, yeah, see ya. So they're not going to be just paying out ETH.
No,
I don't think. So there has to be another way to incentivize holding per se.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where they're located. It's not as easy as I thought it would be.
Okay. Well, you keep doing that.
Thanks.
Let's see. Let's move on here. Bored Ape Yacht Club, obviously. Dookie Dash just ended. Do you miss it?
Kind of. It was a really fun, like, hey, let me just like play a few games for a few minutes and then jump back to something else.
Do you think the game gets like re-released or free to play or something like that eventually? Or is it just like, hey, that was a free experiment. Now it's scrapped. You'll never see it again.
I'd be shocked that if they didn't reuse it. I think it'd be a missed opportunity.
I agree. Put it in the other side somewhere.
Like yeah.
Some bar or cafe that you have to go visit it, and then you can like play a mini game.
Yeah, super simple, and especially if the other side is powered by ApeCoin, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. If you have an ApeCoin sinkhole of like 100,000 a week, just making numbers up here, you can have like a weekly Dookie Dash tournament. Number one on the leaderboard got like 2% of the sinkhole.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, a lot of ways to like reuse that and like re-incentivize people.
Hopefully you guys listening.
I'm a think tank, man. Got all these ideas.
Phenomenal idea. But yeah, no. So that's over with. Now we are looking like, you know, they're tabulating the scores, weeding out all the cheaters, which has led to some crazy price action on the passes themselves. The floor is super thin, which tells me a lot of people are holding on because they want to see what this becomes, which makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. But then there's passes being sold at absurdly low prices. Do you want to explain like the situation people are in?
I don't know if we really know what it is, but I think there's a theory floating around that is if the pass is on the floor and it's undercutting the floor, it's probably a pass that was used to do maybe malicious things, and the owner knows, you know, the score I got isn't going to be legitimate. It's going to be a zero score, or it might be flagged as a cheating pass, which we believe to just be given a score of 0 and not burned. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just people avoiding risk until the final scores are tabulated and their metadata updates to kind of show the score on the pass. I think that's what people are protecting against right now.
I couldn't have said it any better. It's unfortunate that we don't know. If there was a situation where they came out and said cheating passes will be given a score of 1, but they'll not be like null and void like a flagged NFT, then you know they have value. But right now, it's literally ambiguous. They could be, for all intents and purposes, like they could be burned, you know, because they were cheated and see ya.
Yeah, and we just don't know what the passes mean still. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. If it's just a modifier, then those tiers are suddenly pointless because the game's over and now it's down to the score. Mm-hmm. So right now there's a Tier 3 at 20% above floor, and it's heavily under the floor of Tier 3, which if it's only a modifier for the game and now it's just about score, if that Tier 3 is listed under the score of a Tier 1, it's technically worth less than a Tier 1. So we just don't know enough yet, which I think is why the price action is the way it is.
Yep. And again, the floor is super thin. So, you know, two buys and you're back up to 2.5. It's like at 2 right now. So right. You got to think those lower scores that aren't even being bought, or those lower passes rather that aren't being bought, has to be someone who thinks they are getting fucked.
Right.
Or going to get flagged rather, but still. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm stoked to see what happens next. And then, the mech reveal happens in March, so we're not even that far away to that. And I think that's
all happening quick.
Yeah.
Which kind of tells me that they built this out beforehand, and they're saying, hey, here's our execution dates, clean up loose ends. It goes on this day, it goes on that day.
I mean, speaking of which, they then tossed out something for the other side, right? So they are just running things back to back to back. It almost feels like the year of Yuga, which wasn't last year as well.
It seems like it's every year. This is something that Gargamel said to me probably a year ago, which is now kind of showing its strength. And it was that the Yuga core team that made Bored Ape they're not as active in the company as they were. They're now kind of sitting up in these leadership positions and approving decisions from other teams. And they're giving their inspirations down. And those teams are building it out. And that's now shown by the sewer passes having a quick and tight timeline, by the other side also having a deliverable coming out in the near future. Like, one small team can't do this. This is the work of like many moving pieces that the Yuga Lab's core founders are overseeing.
I think it's great to see. It's super healthy, and it makes you believe in them long term because, again, pulling off multiple things at once is tough to do. And then pulling them off with quality kind of shows that there is a very well-run organization going on in the back end.
Oh, yeah. The notion of you never fade Yuga couldn't be any stronger right now.
Yeah. I mean, that other side, Legends of Mara, I have no idea what to think about that, but it looks sick. I mean, the poster looks like some like Godzilla-esque murder thriller.
Right. Yeah. It gives me a big like 2002 Godzilla.
Yeah. It's going to be sick. I mean, I'm stoked to see it. I think the thing for me still is a lot of people are skeptical about this whole NFT thing, who are like just in coins and might not get the hype and why we're so stoked, but I don't even know how to describe that.
It's not really describable. You have to kind of be there and see the culture around it and kind of be in like the test bed of something from nothing.
It feels just early days, and then maybe later on down the line, you're not even going to know you're doing something with NFTs, but the tech is there.
I'm excited for it personally.
Yeah. I think, exactly. I mean, coins are just so much easier to like explain value add immediately. Hey, this is why I think number go up. Good project. That's it. NFTs, it's like this whole like gaming culture.
Yeah, it's so intangible.
It's if you look at it face value, it's a lot of times it's like, why are you buying a cartoon penguin for $10K? And then to describe
it's hard
that,
to
it's
explain.
Like, yeah, I mean, there almost is no explanation if that's like just the sole basis of it.
Yeah, when that question's asked, you're just like, just don't make me explain it. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
It's gonna take too long.
It's one of those things. You just kind of have to be either super in it and willing to take on heavy risk, or just stick to what you know.
I'm going to jump back to sewer passes really quick because I'm watching people buy these. And there's a handful at the floor that are not getting purchased, and ones above that are getting purchased. So I think there is some fear of what's going on here.
Interesting. How would someone even know that?
I have no idea, but I'm watching two wallets just buy a tier 1 for 1 ETH above floor and 0.5 above floor.
I wonder if you can see the scores on some leaderboard and then connect it back to the pass. Now, you still don't know if that score is legitimate, but
right. So what
interesting.
You could probably do is there's the Dookie Stats website that has all the stats for it's the apes, and it has the pass ID. So if you take these, and let's go see what this looks like.
Work backwards, go to someone's wallet, basically.
Well, you take the pass ID that this guy just bought and say, okay, it's pass 9146. And if you look up 9146, it's got a tier 1 score of 340,000. It's ranked 5K, but it's being sold. So that score allegedly is locked, but it's locked to maybe the wallet, to the pass. We're not sure right now.
I think it's to the pass, but still you're in this window of those scores could be invalid. And that is the sketchy part. And now that you said this, I'm looking at people buying way above the floor. I think people are definitely doing the research or the work that you just did, where they're taking the chance though. And so they're near floor, but they have good scores on them. and they're just going to take the chance that someone didn't cheat.
Right.
That's risky as fuck.
In my opinion, it is. Might pay off though.
It very well could.
Like the one sitting at floor right now has no score. It was never played on. It was just held.
Oh, okay. So, and then you have that whole aspect where it didn't register a score. And does Yuga at least, does it burn the pass? I mean, again, the fact that there's ambiguity here still is kind of frustrating because people could get burned on this if they don't know.
I don't think they burn the pass. It seems incredibly predatory.
Like literally, you didn't register the score where all the rules point to you have to play the game once to even be eligible for this summoning thing.
If it was me and, I'm running the Yuga Labs Super Pass team and we found a wallet that used wallet ID 10 and pass 1, I would just ban wallet ID 10 from minting with pass 1. Pass 1 can still be sold to somebody else. When it's sold or transferred, the score's back to 0 because it was cheated on. Like, there's a lot of ways to do that without just saying, hey, we'll burn and destroy this pass.
You have to
Sorry, you bought it.
You have to let the pass be a floor or like the bottom of the floor, though.
Right. But it looks like there is valuation based on the score right now.
Yeah, because all the buying is happening well above the floor.
Yep.
And the fact that there is that ambiguity, people aren't going to touch that, one that's basically 0.5 ETH, almost under the floor.
Right, because
with no
idea what it's worth.
So, interesting dynamics at play. We'll know in a week.
Yep, pays to be good at video games, I guess. So for everyone's parents that said you'll never amount to anything for playing video games, here's your time.
I mean, the pro gamer literally got the top 30 scores. I mean, not all to him, but I think he has 30 scores in the top 100.
Insane.
So wild. I'm
just happy to say I broke 300,000. That's all I wanted in life.
There you go. No comment. Moving on. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Again, don't fade Yuga, I think is the main takeaway here.
Right. Should we just jump to Web3 gaming as a category entirely?
Yeah, might as well.
What's your take on it? You think Web3 gaming has a future here? You think it's a short fad?
I think everyone already knows my answer, and it's that this is definitely going to be a thing, and my money is placed accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, we have a podcast about NFTs, so we better think it has a future.
If it doesn't, what are we doing, right?
We're going back to buying Doge.
Oh God.
Or not buying Doge, rather, because I don't think I've ever bought it.
I bought it for my my friend who texted me. He's like, hey, I want to buy some. It's right before the SNL thing. And I was like, dude, I don't think it's a good idea. He's like, I'll send you $100. Do it for me. And I was like, fine. Whatever. I bought it for him. And 2 days later, he was like, why did I buy that? I was like, what do you mean? Why did you buy it? I bought it with your money.
That's hilarious. I mean, we've talked about it plenty of times. It's one of those things, you shouldn't fade it, but often you do because you just don't get it.
It's like the normie heat check. Is Doge pumping? Well, then okay.
Yeah.
They're
being
back.
in the industry nonstop, you kind of it's a waste of capital in your eyes sometimes. And the move is probably just to catch it as you see the momentum shift, but that's easier said than done.
Oh, it's a narrative driven space. If you catch the narrative early, you buy the narrative.
GG.
It's truly that simple.
Yeah.
You caught the checks narrative early and you went through Jack Butcher's deep thread explaining everything. You printed a ton of money. You buy it late and you're like, well, I'm taking all the risk now. But I think Web3 gaming, kind of back to the topic, it's like a double-edged sword where you need to have a hybrid approach. Otherwise, the game just kind of bleeds its users dry because transactions cost money. And over time, those transactions eat away at your yield. And all people care about is the yield. The yield with sewer passes is the mint machine.
Right.
The yield with Wolf Game is additional assets. The yield with DFK was coins. So it's just kind of all about how do you structure your Web3 game and what are your goals. But I think a lot of people fall into the pit of, okay, I'll give this a token. I'll make it gamified to get the token. And then I'll dig deep and make a really fun game. But at that point, no one cares about the game. They care about the token.
Yeah, it's tough. The incentive structures for Web3 gaming have not been nailed down, but I do think this year is probably a chance to make a step in the right direction. I mean, Dookie Dash kind of was a good proof of concept that you can have a sinkhole for a token, and that's just one game. So
yeah, I think Dookie Dash nailed the concept so far. I think other Web3 games could benefit from that and saying you may yield a token, but there are sinkholes across the board to get benefits from that token, and those benefits can yield better results.
You simply give it a little utility.
We simply give a little utility. A little utility as a treat.
A little utility, and we keep it moving.
Simple as that, isn't it?
Okay, enough of the topics. Let's get into the fun stuff. Let's talk about Twitter topics here.
Okay, real quick, heat check on the YOLO long, up 4%.
I'm even.
Yeah, we were at the most, we were up 30%.
Dude, we're still so deep in this podcast that I'm not even worried about it.
No, the pod continues until we're back to 30.
And honestly, there's been times where even after we record, it is maybe break even or so, and then maybe an hour later, it's all of a sudden up 150%.
So absolutely.
We big chillin'. Okay, let's this one's kind of funny. In March, does Ethereum go up?
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, let me pull out my crystal ball real quick. Yeah, it looks like number go up.
Easy, and that's how we became billionaires.
No, I mean, I have no clue. I have a thesis, and that's all I go off of. One, you look at on-chain activity. It's increasing. What does that do? That burns Ethereum. We're net deflationary Ethereum by I haven't checked, but it's over 10K ETH. That buy pressure can't be ignored. So, I mean, that's just sitting in the background at all times. And so, I mean, I think I'm predispositioned to number go up. Now, if number go up faster than I'm comfortable with, that's when you take a little profits. But I don't think we're at that point yet. I mean, ETH is only 1,600 right now.
Right.
We're beyond. Couldn't imagine.
We're sitting kind of right where we thought the low of the bear market would hang out, kind of right north of that last cycle high.
We've had a nice little run. People are a little skittish. That's totally fine. Take some profits if you want, but I'm chilling right now. Arbitrum's catching the narrative. You have the withdrawals for ETH. Everyone thinks it's bearish, which means it's probably bullish. But then if everyone thinks it's bearish, then it's bullish, then it could be bearish.
That is the precipice of this entire ecosystem.
Yeah, it's always a contrarian take. And then how contrarian do you get? I mean, Jim Cramer says something, everyone does the opposite, and then so you're almost manifesting it. But then at what point does that stop working, and then the contrarian take becomes the non-contrarian take?
Right. That's when you flip your bias.
Right. It's so annoying, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, it really is. It's annoying how often it works too.
Yeah. So for ETH, withdrawals being enabled and stuff. I mean, a lot of people locked that shit up north of 2K. And so a lot of those people knew that there was really no unlock date at the time. So to me, that equates them to long-term believers in ETH. And I don't see those people nuking their entire bags.
Right.
So I guess I would lean bullish.
I could see bullish. Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be. If unlock happens and there isn't this massive red candle, it's bullish.
Yeah.
And that seems more likely than the massive red candle. And if there is a massive red candle, it just will probably get bought up by people.
Yeah.
So
I think so too.
Probably net neutral to bullish.
At the end of the day, we all just want number go up, dude. So why does people even talk about bearish stuff? I hate
it. Bears are haram.
I mean, Jesus, get them out of here. It's so annoying. If you I can't imagine being allergic to green candles. That's what you basically are if you're a bear.
I heard that bears like number go up, but they just want to buy number lower first.
That's so selfish. disgustingly selfish.
Just buy now and get with everybody else in the boat.
Exactly, dude. Just get on. You missed the boat so far, so might as well hop on board and party.
Swim on out.
The next question, I'm kind of jumping all over here, by the way. What are your thoughts on the recent altcoin pumps, sustainable or not? I mean, shit, we're getting a pullback right now, so
yeah,
I think that kind of answers that question. Is it over? No, but probably if you were eyeing some quality projects, it's not a bad time to jump in there, especially if some of these coins are down 30% on the daily. That doesn't make any sense. So if you had something you were eyeing, I would take a look at it. But they did have a solid run. So I don't know. I don't think it's over, but I also don't think it was super sustainable. If that is like a cop-out answer, then so be it.
Yeah, makes sense. They'll be back.
They'll be back. They always are.
It simply is all. Yeah, they're always back. The number looks good to you, buy the number. Looks bad,
yeah.
Wait for a different number, and then buy the higher number.
Yeah, and I think my only comment on that is like, it's been a lot of rotations going on. People are moving from narrative to narrative, which kind of tells me there's not a ton of new money flowing in at the moment. It's still a lot of like the OGs and like this hot ball of money rotating around the space, which honestly should be a long-term bullish thing for you, because you definitely want to get in before the retail money comes flowing back. Now, how long that takes is anyone's guess. But I think the current situation definitely is like just, diehard crypto people, either FOMOing in or chasing like a liquid stake derivative narrative or chasing an Arbitrum narrative or a Canto narrative. I mean, the list goes on.
Should we be rotating?
I'm not a rotator.
No, yeah, me either. More of a buy and believe.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I evaluate a project, I believe in it. I'm not going to chase, because the second I do, then that bag goes up 2x. 3x.
Yeah, I never rotate back. Once I'm out, I'm out. I do not.
And that's the other thing. Buying back higher is such a like mental blocker. Even if it's a great project, most people will like add to their losers instead of buying more of the winner.
Absolutely.
Because of this like, oh, well, it's I'm not going to DCA up.
Yeah.
It's a tough mindset to shake. I don't think I've ever fully gotten rid of it. One time I reminded myself of that was early OV and Len days, and I kept buying DCAing up, but then it went nuts, so it ended up working out.
That seems to be the trend for you, though.
I mean, dude, if you want to talk about the bucking the trend, we could talk about some plays where I've absolutely gotten waxed. But
I don't
again,
want to, because it breaks the mindset.
It's always late cycle. Like you're using the same sizing and risk that you would at the beginning of a bull run, and that is just where you get toasted. Because you're thinking, okay, cool, let me size up here. I think this is going to go crazy. You DCA down because that works in the raging bull, but then it doesn't work.
No, it just keeps going down.
Yeah, and then you're in a situation of like, oh, I have a nice tax loss. Like, are you going to be excited about that, I guess?
You carry those forever.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun. But we keep it moving, like I said. Good vibes only.
So what do you want to see in the space 3 to 5 years down the road? What would you be most excited about?
Good question. Clear regulation. I think right now the most annoying part of crypto is every other day it's like, something about the SEC doesn't like this, the SEC doesn't like that. Clear regulation would be nice, especially for people trying to build in the space and like, trying to make it a better, more open system. Now, there's tons of grifts, so I get that argument. So let's chill. But, and then I think pure and true decentralization would be nice. A lot of the projects right now working are centralized, and you kind of have to start that way, because if you start out decentralized, 1, you become super slow. 2, you're open to risks with contracts and stuff like that. But I think a lot of these projects, as they grow out of their infancy stages, they become more of like these true DAOs, these organizations that really run async and benefiting the community. So 3 to 5 years, I hope that's a thing. I hope DeFi really takes off more, and I hope Bored Apes are 10 million per ape, and that penguins are 30 million per penguin. Is that too much to ask?
Man, that's a spendy penguin.
Imagine.
Can I cop a penguin if that's the case?
Bro,
Do I have time?
You can have several.
Yes. Phenomenal answer. Way better than mine would have been. So we're just going to move right on past that then. Wow. Will Bender ever degen back into FTM now that it's pumping? No. Won't. Simply
won't do it. I mean, Brett, if we want to talk about Scam Dre, the rug doctor, we could. But that guy is probably a plant from the CIA at this point. That's Andre Cronje for the people not following along.
Here to take as much of your coins as you can.
Dude, like, people worship that guy. I don't get it. He's basically dumped every single project that he's ever had and just labeled it as an experiment. And then it seems like when he needs to buy a new mansion, he rolls back into the space being like, hey, by the way, Phantom's doing great. You should buy it. And then you look at the wallet selling and it's like, oh, yeah, let me cash out another 10 mil.
Right.
Must be nice.
I had a lot of fun on Phantom. I think it was like because of the puppeteer role I had in so many places. Because I just like weaseled my way into conversations I really shouldn't have been a part of. But like, you can get that anywhere. FTM, you're dead to me, man. You hurt me so many times.
Yeah. And there's new chains. Kanto has a sick community building right now. We called that shit so early on this podcast.
Yeah.
If you farm that since we talked about it, I mean, Brett, feel free to sponsor an episode.
You're up multiple X's.
Oh, multiple. And then if you were like paying attention to that space and you bought some of those NFTs, you are literally generational wealth type situation.
Yeah, just let me get a lunch. Lunch.
You know, send a DoorDash gift card or something.
We should do that one day. We should DoorDash each other lunch and just see what shows up.
That would be hilarious. I mean, for those who don't know on Twitter, how wild is this? We've never met. We've never seen each other. This only all happened through like a Discord. I mean, I don't even know your name. So
no.
So that would be a fun experiment to do.
I think I would probably send you cereal. I would try to find the most abstract, random thing. I'd get the DoorDash guy to like pick up like Lucky Charms and some milk from the store. In like a bowl.
Like, let me send you like a dank sandwich or like, maybe some turkey.
Oh.
Definitely not a ham. But no, I think I would guap you up with something nice.
Oh, I was going for the comedy side.
Okay, we see that.
Whoops.
We could go that route, but that would be a hilarious segment for sure.
It would.
We'll see. Maybe we got to work it in, but the podcast is too poor to think about DoorDashing anything.
I still scrounge for food in the backyard. I'm one with the woodland creatures.
We love to see it.
Do we?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Just need to punt some more YOLO pod longs right now. Don't talk about it. Anyway, next question.
We're live.
Which one of these NFT ones you want to ask?
Oh, maybe open editions. Okay. Are open editions here to stay? And what's your thoughts on established projects doing open editions? Like all the Killa Bears that did their 0.02 open edition for, I think it was 24 hours.
Okay. I think the open editions are here to stay to an extent. I think checks are here to stay. I don't think open edition cash grabs are here to stay. A lot of people just launched a quick one and try to bag some free ETH off of it. You know who you are. But I do think the concept of an artist being able to open up an open edition is cool. And there's probably going to be ways people use it going forward, but it's not going to be how it is right now.
Yep. Same boat.
Yep.
A lot of cool creative ways to use them. I don't see... There's a bad side. There's a good side, just like there is to everything. You can scam me in an ERC 721. You can do it in your ERC 1155. Like, you got to choose to be positive or negative. I'm choosing to be negative. I think they're kind of neat so far.
You know what's funny is that this plays into a recent conversation we had where it was how big do the NFT supplies actually get? And I mean, some of these are in the hundreds of thousands, But when you think about that in terms of coins, that's
Not that
still
much.
such minimal supply.
That was my first thought with open editions was this is the next iteration of NFTs to a higher supply cap, lower entry level.
Yep. And it could lean to meme coin price action if you get one that's like, if one was able to get to 10 million mints, that would be insane. And then it could lead to crazy price action.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't see a world where they ever get to billions and billions like the Doge supply.
No.
But
we'd have to have such a larger user base to even get to millions.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that the largest one went to, how many was it? 200K?
167K. I think it was the Vincent Van Gogh Pepe's.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's crazy. But I think that trend continues.
Me too. And in terms of established projects doing open editions, it is what they want to do. You know, like they built a project, they have full control of what they do with it. If they're doing open edition and have a way to tie it in a novel and entertaining or neat way, who cares? Sounds great.
Yeah. I think we both can relate heavy on this. We're just not a fan of cash grabs. If there's some effort put into it, I'm all for it. If you're using your community as exit liquidity, I mean, come on, bro.
Right.
You know,
let the effort be obvious and you're fun.
Exactly. I think this next one is a good question, by the way. In your eyes, what do you think is a safe bet in the space for 2023? Not financial advice, of course. Yuga assets, ? Assets under that umbrella, penguins, seals, etc.
I think tier one NFTs, and by tier one, I'm thinking like Yuga Labs. I'm thinking Azuki. I kind of think that's the end of tier one in my mind. Mm-hmm. You know, there's like this little bird that I think hangs out in like the North Pole or somewhere.
Just like waddles in his flightless.
Waddles flightless. Like it looks like it's wearing a suit. I guess you could put those up there.
They have a little bit to go, and they have a different strategy, I think, which is a cool take. But I agree. I agree with that take. I think this year Azukis are going to be crazy. I own none, so of course they're going to go crazy. Yep. I do think Yuga is obviously the leader and is always a safe bet in a place that's just riddled with risk. So safe is almost a term I'm not even willing to use. But
right. And I've always believed in the Penguins for what it's worth. We had a mutual friend call them out at 0.02 ETH, and I faded them, and I can never get back in now.
I mean, I bought Winter Bears instead, right? So
fair, yeah.
That's what it was. Winter Bears should basically be up there with them, but
I think you're buying teams. You're not at this point. You're not buying NFTs. You're not buying the picture. You're either buying the hype to flip it, or you're saying, hey, this team does not fuck around. They're going to deliver. And they're going to add value in some way or another that makes this investment better. That's
what it is. You have to be buying in for that. Otherwise, I don't know what you're doing.
Right. Other than that, the only other safe bet is on yourself. Bet on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly with all that. You always want to bet on yourself. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with your answer. Yuga assets, Azukis, and then, play some upcoming mints with maybe some small ETH. I know there's one upcoming that people are pretty excited about.
What is it?
Time to plug, dude.
Oh. I was like, what could he be talking about? Like, what is coming up?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
The project looking good, man. We've seen a lot of sneak peeks coming along for the Bender project.
It's looking good.
Catch up on can't take a hint.
I honestly was like, what is coming up? I was thinking like next day or two. I'm having a great time with it, and I think that's kind of showing through to the community at this point of like how much fun it is for me to do this.
People are literally already making their own version of art for you.
It's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, because there was so much fear before I ever showed anybody any of the art. Was like, what if everyone's like, this is awful, I hate this, and there's like widespread rejection. Like no one wants to be rejected. Like part of the human experience is just wanting to be connected and like be accepted. So seeing people come out and be like, hey, this is sweet, there's so much nostalgia behind it, reminds me of X, Y, and Z, I love this, I love that, here's the art I made, even though I'm pretty sure like most people are doing it to like get a whitelist spot or something. I love it. I just love seeing people rally around something they're, I guess, passionate about.
I fucking can't wait, man. I'm excited. Again, I've said it on the timeline, but I'll say it here. You've been pouring your heart into this. It's been a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of work. And shit, we've been on the phone just talking about all the combinations and the risks you're taking and different models and kind of like the thing you're trying to be as a differentiator. So, all these projects are experiments. Let's be real. But I think there's a ton of like heart and effort put into this. So stoked to see it come to fruition. And, obviously the whole podcast will be watching.
Yeah. Big believer in execution. You get one chance to execute. You got to execute correctly. So we won't let you down.
That. All right. Anyway, let's get to the fun stuff. I didn't even see this section, but the miscellaneous questions we have are heat.
Yeah.
We have some good ones here. I'm going to start it off with something super relatable, and everyone's going to be yelling at their speakers, screens, whatever you want to call it. Which is more infuriating while driving? Ooh. The light turns green and the car in front does not move. Cars driving slowly in the fast lane, or no blinker when changing lanes.
Oh, man. I got to go
all
with
the above. Shit. I hate all that stuff.
The only thing missing is like an inconspicuous biker trying to like be eco-friendly, and I'm like in a car and you're in my way. I got to go with cars driving slowly in the fast lane. Nothing grinds my gear more than being like, you're going 5 under, and like me and the 14 people behind me are all having a bad day now.
Yeah. I think, okay, so the light turns green, car in front of you doesn't move. That's an easy fix. You lay on the horn. Now, how long do you give someone?
Oh, it depends where I'm at.
If I can see that they're clearly distracted, like, we're sitting at the red light and I see them fumbling around and I know that the light is about to turn green, I don't want to give them that much time because I know they're going to miss it. So why would I sit there and like just kick it while they're missing it?
Right.
But I'm definitely not looking at the light to the left of me, like waiting for it to turn and then laying on the horn. I think that's a little much, but that's annoying. But yeah, the car's driving slow in the fast lane. See you later. I don't know. I literally do not understand it when someone's all the way in the carpool lane and they're going 65.
Yeah. Like,
if you're an international listener, you have no clue what I'm talking about.
No.
Get wrecked. Yeah, no, that's
my speed limit in my head is like 5 to 10 above the posted speed limit. That's a legal speed limit in my head. If you're not doing that, like, we have an issue.
Always. And the no blinker thing, whatever. As long as I see it coming and there's no accident, you Gucci, bro.
Right, not a big deal. Like, I don't want to hit you. You don't want to hit me. Like, that's fine. I don't really care how aggressive your turn is.
Yeah. We good.
But I'm not a road rage driver. I'm like a very calm, like whatever. Like, that guy's kind of dumb driver.
I always, if there's something going wrong, I just toss a thumbs up, and I know that pisses them off more than anything.
I
just give them a thumbs up, like, nice one, dude. Nice one.
The patronizing thumbs up.
Oh, dude, it's the best. It makes me feel super good.
I'm a big fan of the horn. Getting to use the horn is so satisfying. It's like the one piece of the car you never use. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Stole it right out of you. Yeah, it should be used more, huh?
Yeah, I take if there's a window that a horn can be used, I'm using it.
That's hilarious.
Absolutely. I'll like even say hi to people. I'm like, let me get a horn. Like, hey.
Toss a little horn. Hey, what's up, bud?
Yeah.
It's so aggressive. It can be so aggressive, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Which is fun. Okay. This one, I'm going to leave off the first part of the question because we don't want to dox around here. But in high school, were you more of a Jordan, American Eagle, or Aeropostale kind of guy?
I'm going to switch this around first. You have to guess what you think I was wearing all the time in high school. I have to guess what I think you were wearing in high school.
You're going to... Okay, here we go. I'm thinking faux hawk, dyed tips with a popped collar. What was that one with a brand with the gator?
You can just say like
lacrosse,
like JC Shazaz or Lance Bass. It's okay. I know where you're going.
I'm shocked. Abercrombie didn't make it to this list because I feel like I could even toss out Abercrombie for the guy. But that's just more of a hilarious guess, to be honest.
Oh man,
Live it or what?
You're like not far off.
Okay,
I think
the faux hawk was like.
That was a little.
You never
much.
had the faux hawk.
No, never had.
Did you ever have dyed tips?
No, I think like in
you
fifth
never
grade.
had dyed tips. Okay, yeah,
no, like
not
super young when my sister was like, "Oh, this will be so cool," and then it happened. I was like, I look like an idiot.
I wish I could erase that from all of history, but it's out there, so
it is.
You can't get rid of it.
No, I think you're pretty close there. A lot of Abercrombie and Fitch, a lot of Nike. Kind of depended on the day. Like the style is either like you got to get dressed up for class, or you got to like kind of go in there looking like kind of scrubby. Like I roll out of bed, I have practice later today.
Do you remember K-Swiss, the shoes?
Yeah, never had a pair, but that was like a hot thing.
Yeah, I used to rock those a little bit. Those were like almost the first Vans.
You wear your K-Swiss like this?
Is that the tagline?
That was the tagline, yeah. That was that
amazing.
big commercial.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I could see K-Swiss, acid wash jeans, horizontal striped shirt, puka shells.
Puka shells.
And I think you were like a big believer in the the American Apparel zip ups, unzipped.
Oh my god, I definitely fucks heavy with like a zip up hoodie back in the day.
Yeah.
Now I prefer just a full blown hoodie, but
I'm in a hoodie right now.
There you go. See,
I'm in an oversized hoodie.
Hoodies are pure comf. That's such a hilarious question.
It is
true nostalgia.
Yeah, man, it's such like do I need to remember
fully
this
dating
time?
ourselves with that one.
Yeah, that's okay.
It is what it is. If you don't know anything about what we just said,
good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah,
but you also missed out on a good time.
Yeah, I loved high school. High school is like one of my favorite parts in life.
I mean, yeah, back in the day when like cell phones were just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Bro, I lived with dial-up internet back when I was like trying to play computer games. So.
Oh yeah, would you like sneak into the computer room wherever it was and like try to hide the noise from the dial-up?
Of course.
Never.
And then
worked.
you get on the phone. Someone picks up the phone and like it messes everything up because you're connecting through it, and then you just lose connection and see you later.
Yeah.
You're charging on Red Alert 2 and you just get waxed by the enemy by the time you load back in. AKA you don't load back in because it's just not how it works.
Because you're downstairs yelling at like your sister, your sibling, your parents. Like, dude, what a time to be alive.
What a time indeed. Anyway, moving on from this now nostalgia train. How much does the producer hate you playing Dookie when recording?
Probably a lot.
We're forming a union for those unaware. We are being taken advantage of.
Please help.
Please send help. I'm blinking right now. No,
the amount of suggestions that we get is funny because it'll be like, I can hear your clicking. Like, what are you doing? Like, oh, dude, like
just don't call it out.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because he goes back and listens to the audio probably before it even gets posted, and he'll hit us up for things that we do during the episode. Mm-hmm. And it's like, bruh, come on.
It's very like introspective at times.
Yeah, let that one slide. No, we wouldn't. The show runs so much better with the producer, so hats off to him. He's killing it. He has his own like fan base too, which actually pisses me off, but it is what it is.
I love it. It's hilarious.
Let's see. Is Bender intern part of the production team? And if not, can we nominate this homie for a job? This sounds like something planted by Bender intern.
It does sound planted by Bender intern, and I don't know who wrote this one because we don't have that information here.
Yeah, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Producer would be nice.
He's not on the team. He's an unpaid intern.
Exactly. He just brings the vibes and the GMs every day.
I love the guy too. There's so much mystery and allure around him. At some point, we got to get him involved somehow.
I got to plug the spaces again because he came on. So
I know.
If you're not paying attention to the spaces, again, I think they're all recorded. Maybe we work up a way to like. I don't think you want to post them as a podcast because the quality and the audio would probably be trash. But there should be a way that we get them out there somewhere, maybe on the YouTube. But we'll work on that. It was hilarious to have him on because you and I that morning were convinced it was the producer, and it's definitely not.
I have never been so convinced of anything in my life. Like I was there, nothing would have convinced me. You would have been like, "I'll give you $2 million if you believe it's not him." I'd be like, "No, it's him." Simple as that.
That's hilarious.
I got shook.
I mean, got to get him on the pod one day just to riff and shoot the shit, because if people don't tune into the spaces and they don't care about the YouTube and don't want to do anything else that I just potentially recommended, then they have to be entertained by him on the pod. But he's a wild card. It's gonna be a risk. You know he's listening, so shout out.
Absolutely. He's probably in this room somehow. He just knows too much about me.
Bro, it's you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Like, again, he put up a poll that was like, "What is Bender doing today?" And it had like 4 items on there. Dude, and one of them was that Harry Potter.
He nailed it.
Yeah, one of them was the Harry Potter Hogwarts game, which I had only talked about to I think like you and the producer. And I don't know how he even knew. Like, I'm not playing it, but I'm like, how did you know
it
that
was
in the
on
conversation?
There, though.
Yeah.
But the first option was you playing Dookie Dash, and as he tweeted that we were on a call, you were playing Dookie Dash.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It's so sketchy. We're being spied on, and I do not appreciate it. I'm violated. I feel violated. Too funny. Honestly, fuck. People should just fast forward to like the last 20 minutes of this podcast. I feel like the beginning is like semi boring. I hope it's not though. I hope it's a little informative. But this part is just pure entertainment.
I love this stuff.
It's almost like, do we start with this? But then no one would listen to the full thing. Everyone would be like, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. But maybe then again, people are listening for some informative stuff. So I don't know. Let us know.
Yeah. We could also flip it.
The comments.
We could flip the script and say, we'll do Twitter stuff in the beginning and then informational stuff at the end during the bowl. We'll flip it around.
Interesting. Let us know what you think with a comment. Let's do one last one and call it wraps because it's been a banger episode.
Absolutely. Which one are you thinking here?
I'll let you decide.
Oh, no. That's because I asked you that because I couldn't pick.
Get wrecked.
Oh, man. Let's touch on when you getting a Bera. What is a Bera?
Oh, my God, bro. Why would you choose this one?
Because you made me pick, and this is the only one with your name in it.
Oh, my God. So we're going to do one more. But anyway, a Bera is for Bera Chain, I'm guessing. And which has not launched yet. So I think it's this like community that's been building Bera Chain, which is a new layer 1 blockchain, supposedly. But it's always been a meme too. They always say like Bera Chain's never going to be a thing, And then someone like started building it, and now it's going to be a thing. But the thing is, and and you buy these NFTs as like your allocation for an airdrop of the future coins. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure the OG bears have a floor of like 200 plus ETH, but that said, there's been no buys at that price and also no sells. So you don't know the actual price of them because the bid is like $200. So I don't know. I don't know why I would get one. It just seems like such an unknown. I'm down to participate in the layer 1 when it comes out because it probably will have like a niche community similar to Kanto, but I'm definitely not going to speculate and buy an NFT.
Yeah, no, not at all either. They have a GitHub. All they have is a Berachain local spin up for the dev environment, and they forked the Cosmos SDK so far. It looks like it's so early that it was a meme question. Absolutely, I wouldn't be a part of this for the near future.
There you have it. Someone's going to be heated off that.
That's okay.
That's hilarious though that that was that easy to spot. But if
they just had a GitHub.
Okay, got it. Okay, final question. When are you gonna get these gentle degens on the road for a J Crook BBQ sesh?
We always do these before lunch.
No, and that's why I tossed it out because
Oh man.
Yeah, it makes you want to eat for sure.
It does.
For sure now.
That'll be some sort of like a victory lap per se of like we hit a huge milestone.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ideas that we have for this in the future, and I think once we accomplish one of the larger ones, that is definitely the way to celebrate. A quick little tour. But for now, I think it's more about growth and giving quality content and, building up a cool community, and then releasing some of that stuff we have in mind and just constantly upgrading what we're doing.
Right. Kind of nose of the grindstone, reward later.
Yeah. I mean, how many times have we said this isn't about we hate cash grabs, and so this will never be that. But going on a tour at this stage, unfortunately, doesn't make sense, but it will happen. And already got some sick merch, personalized merch for J Crook lined up whenever we do end up meeting. So that'll happen.
Do we also get merch? Is this just a one-off made for him?
Bro, I don't even know what you're talking about with merch.
Do I not get merch? I get nothing, don't I?
We get nothing. The producer just gets everything.
Imagine that world.
It's a world that I'm currently living in, and I just don't appreciate it one bit. Again, union coming soon.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the fun part of this whole podcast was it was built from just an idea you and I had of this could be fun.
Bro, how many times did I hound you to get this thing going?
Oh, man.
But you also, full credit, we both schemed on it, and then I was hooked on it, and then I feel like it took months of hounding, and it was like, okay, let's do it. I set everything up and just gave you time to show up.
That is exactly what it took. I had so many other things going on. I was like, it's not even in my
focal point. I knew that was going to be the case. And then I think the first maybe 10 episodes, it was just fun. It was like press record, show up, whatever. Then we got the producer. Things got way more professional, way better branding. All credit to the produce. And then now I think that rallied another spark, in both of us, I'd say, with an even bigger passion to make 2023 be the year of trending down.
Oh yeah, I think now it's at the point where it's like, okay, we actually have something here we can create a cool thing with.
Yeah. And
it's gone from this is just for fun to maybe we can make this a long-term process.
Yeah. And I think, again, it would be nothing without the community, and so it's been cool. Even if people are just following along right now for your NFT project or whatever it is, hopefully they enjoy the content and they stick around for the long term. But then we got the OGs too, and we know who you are. Right.
And all the rewards get reaped in the bowl.
Amen to that. So before we go, check in on the YOLO pod long. Right now it's not looking good. But we are still a little ways away from fully liquidated. So
we're close.
We're so close. Flirting with liquidation heavy. Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen. If it does, we simply don't talk about it.
No, we just let it liquidate.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't hit the timeline.
Nope. But damn, do I complain about it in our DMs.
Oh, true. And I have full faith. I have not lost faith. So. Did
you just get liquidated on the leg down just now? You still alive?
Oh, I'm alive.
I'm close.
I'm a couple bucks. So anyway, you punt the longs with it's not size, folks. It's just fun, but still. And of course I say that when it's not going well, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, another banger episode. I think we wrap it up here. What do you think?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, on that note, again, YouTube, go subscribe, hit the comments, hit the Twitter. It definitely helps out a ton, motivates us, and we appreciate the love. So we'll keep it going. We'll hit you guys maybe with a Spaces and an episode next week. We'll confirm that on the Twitter. So go hit the Twitter. to find out, question mark. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. This has been Trending Down, Ethersole Bender. We will catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace.